What is going on, everyone? Tim from Tierfon Orbital. So, today I would like to talk about an install commission that I completed on a Slayer from CCsabers. So, I actually believe that Elf manufactures this as well, but CCsabers offers it here in the States. So, this is a hilt that is based on the concept art for Kylo Ren's hilt, right? So, obviously, we got what we got for Kylo Ren's hilt in the films, which, in my opinion, I actually wish that they went with this version of Kylo's hilt in the films. Unfortunately, we got what we got in the films, which, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, that hilt, albeit it is an iconic looking hilt, it is ridiculous in my opinion with like the Quillian side blades and all that. I wish that they went with this hilt because we have an exposed crystal chamber. This is a very unique looking hilt as well. But I have seen a number of this version of the concept art hilt come across my desk. And this is the first time that I have seen this version of it in person. And I have to say, I really, really like this version of the hilt. It's very big. It's very hefty, right? We've got a very large exposed brass crystal chamber here. The grip, there's so much room on the inside of this grip for like, a lot of fun to have. As far as chassis design is concerned, we have lit buttons here, which I thought was a really cool touch. So I had a lot of fun doing the chassis for this one, and I really like this version of the hilt. I actually happen to have a Heart of Siberia here as well to do like a little comparison. But I really, really like this version of that hilt. So I do want to come into Fusion and talk a little bit about the chassis. And then obviously we will come up top, talk about how to use it, and then we will do a demo, put a blade in it, and then we'll be on our way. All right, so let's come into Fusion. All right, so here it is. This is the chassis for the CCsabers Slayer. So much room on the inside. I think this was like 31 millimeters on the inside. No. Yeah, 32 millimeters on the inside of this hilt. So there was a lot of room to play around with, right? So this chassis was done in PLA carbon fiber. Okay, so let's start at the bottom. Plenty of room, obviously, to do a fully enclosed 28 millimeter speaker. This is a 28 millimeter Elite speaker from Smugglers Outpost. Okay, I did do greeblies on one side. This greebly panel was done in resin. I printed it off in resin and then just CA glued it to the side of the chassis, okay? On the inside of the chassis, obviously, here's our battery tray. On this side of the chassis, there is like a window for a 2020 neopixel strip. I do kind of feed that through this slot here with a piece of Mylar in front of it for some diffusion, okay? And then we have our Proffie tray. Proffie board just kind of sits in here. Underneath that is our kill switch. And that is it, right? So just like plenty of room to play around with, plenty of room to get some nice deep greebly work, plenty of room for fun, right? I had a lot of fun doing this one. I'm finding that doing windows for 2020 neopixel strips is not as easy for me as it was in resin. It's not as easy for me to do in PLA as it was for me to do in resin. Right, so I'm trying to switch up the way I do my vents and windows for that, and I'm really happy with the way that this one came out. This is a little bit different than what I've done in the past, right? And then the entire chassis is secured to the upper part of the hilt with a set screw, right? And that's it. Nice and simple, right? So let's come up top. All right, so here it is, the CCsabers Slayer. I believe that this is done by Elf lightsabers, but this thing, really, really nicely done, really well made hilt. It is well machined. I mean, it's a nicely made hilt, right? I have seen there is a not factory installed, but there is a version of this hilt that comes installed with a premium chassis. That chassis it's a really nice chassis. It's a brass chassis with a rotating crystal chamber on the inside. It's really, really nice. But this one, obviously, I put my install in this one. But a lot going on here, right? So we have two lit buttons. There is a PCB that is included with the hilt with some onboard LEDs. They're just regular white LEDs. Okay. We've got a crystal chamber up top with two, I believe they're either acrylic or resin crystals, right? I have lit those from below and above with neopixels. Now, I didn't talk about this in Fusion. I did make a special PCB holder up here, right? So essentially it's a PCB holder that holds the PCB emitter, and below that is well, let's come into Fusion and talk about it really quick. So this is the upper PCB holder that I made for this. Because there's not a lot of room to put a neopixel up top, I just made a simple PCB holder that has a neopixel pointing downwards into that crystal chamber, right? So I bring my leads up past this grill here for that PCB, the upper emitter PCB, and then I also wire up my single neopixel. This is all wired up as a single subblade, so everything is wired up in series, essentially, or is it parallel? So yeah, just a simple little holder. This is the beauty of having a 3D printer. You can create your own parts, right? So that is what is up in that upper emitter, right? So let's come back up top. So that is what is in the upper part of the emitter, obviously, right? So I have not added the red wire. The customer has asked me not to. They will add that themselves, right? So making our way down, there is this unique little grill section in here. I have added 3 2020 neopixel strips in here that are behind a piece of mylar for diffusion. There is also like a custom, it's not really a chassis, but it's just a holder that holds those 2020 neopixel strips, and that is for some extra animation in there. Okay, I wanted to really take advantage of the amount of space in here, and I also obviously wanted to take advantage of the fact that we have those windows in there, right? I didn't want to put a secondary crystal chamber. I just wanted to get some extra, some extra animation in there, right? So let's talk about how to use this guy, right? So to unscrew your grip, to get at your chassis, you want to unthread your grip. Here is that chassis. Huge chassis, right? So much room on the inside there. So there is that battery tray. I was able to get my logo on the inside of that battery tray, which I'm pretty happy about. I did a pass of pewter rub and buff on this one, and then I just kind of painted some of the accents. Proffie board is here. This is a Proffie V3 build. There's our kill switch down in there, and that is it. There's our 2020 neopixel strip, right? I also added, there is an O-ring, like a rubber O-ring in here as well. I do like adding that just so you're not over cranking your grip, right? Let me get a battery. So, spring side is your negative in here. You want to take the flat part of your battery, put it down towards the speaker. Hit your kill switch. So there is that animated 2020 neopixel strip. There are those neopixel strips in that vent area, and then obviously we have our lit switches. I think that is such a cool feature of this hilt, right? Okay. Try to do something a little different in the crystal chamber and in this chamber as well for everything. All right. So once you get your battery in, you're ready to go. Twist to activate, twist to deactivate has been enabled on this config. So just as for a size comparison, right? Because this is a larger iteration of this hilt than what I've seen come across my desk. This is the Heart of Siberia from Denis Lukanov. It is profile-wise, it's a big hilt. It's big, right? To be completely honest with you, I prefer this hilt. I prefer this to be bigger. Okay, that's going to be taken way out of context. I like Denis's version. I don't prefer it of all of the Jedi Killers or this version of the hilt. I like this one. I really do. In fact, like I said, I've seen a number of them come across my desk, and they haven't really moved me. But seeing this one in person, I'm actually really seriously considering getting one for myself. I really like this one. It's probably, honestly, like, I'm a very simple person, right? You give me lit switches, you got me. You had me at lit switches, right? So, anyhow, let me take this squeaky toy away from my dog. Hold on. Hey, Apollo. Apollo, come on, man. Anyway, so yeah, I'm a simple man, right? You show me blinkies, you show me lit switches, I'm sold, right? So, anyhow, so let's come back up top, right? So, lit crystal chamber, lit auxiliary, I don't know what you would call that, but lit vent down here. It's a good sounding hilt. Let's put a blade in it. All right, hopefully you can't hear all of the construction that's going on. I live in this city, so I have a building that is being demolished over here. I have another building that is being demolished next to my building. So there's a lot going on. So hopefully it's not coming up on my microphone. So this is a 1-inch blade holder. You have a set screw that will serve as your blade retention right here, okay? So kind of rest your blade on those PCB pins. This is my 1-inch demo blade. Shout out to my boy Kenny for sending me this blade. This has been a lifesaver because I can have my fan on and not whack my fan, right? So get your blade in, tighten that set screw, and you're good to go. I think that's a color swing blade. Let's see what else we put on here.
What is it? Father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
My dog is looking for a squeaky toy. Hold on. So to the customer, this has been set up with color wheel on it, right? So let's talk about button controls first. I feel like I don't go over this in every video enough. Like, right, I think I sometimes make the incorrect assumption that everybody knows how to use Proffie. I also sometimes make the incorrect assumption that I shouldn't be teaching everyone how to use Proffie board, right? Proffie board navigation, right? So there are a plethora of Proffie board instructional videos out there that have been made by some great folks. So I do highly recommend watching those for people that have not done so. If you are looking to get a Proffie board lightsaber, it is a great platform. It is a very robust platform. You can do everything from the board, from the buttons. You can even transfer like blade styles and everything from the buttons now, right? But I will go over some of the basic stuff, right? So if you're looking at your buttons, if you're looking at the top button, that is your main. The bottom one is your aux, right? So to scroll through your fonts, you want to hit your aux button. While the blade is pointed up, it will scroll forward through your font configs. If you point the blade down, it will go backwards, okay? Obviously, top is main. You tap that to activate your blade. If you want to change your color of your blade while the blade is on, pointed parallel, you want to hold down your main and tap aux. I always get this wrong. You want to hold down aux, just hold down your aux button and tap main. You're going to hear that audible cue. Rotate your blade until you find a color that you like. And then you want to tap aux again, or tap main again. And it will lock that color in, okay? See what else we put on here. You can also get to like a track player if you want to play like a soundtrack that's associated with your font by long pressing the power or the main button and releasing it while the blade is pointed up. To stop that, you long press and release. Volume menu is a long press of the power button and a tap of the aux button. And you can
maximum volume.
Rotate the hilt left or right to increase or decrease your volume. To exit out of that, you want to tap main again. There's a lot to do from the buttons with Proffie board. So let's see what else we put on here. One more. Very cool crystal chamber in there. One more. All right. So that is it. That is the Slayer from CCsabers. And Elf, I'm pretty sure it's manufactured by Elf. But yeah, just a super, super unique hilt that is based on the concept art for Kylo Ren's hilt, right? This one was a lot of fun to do because there's just so much room in the grip, right? Massive amount of room in the grip. So to the customer, thank you very much for trusting me with your hilt. We are just coming off the end of a holiday weekend. So thank you for your patience. I am just now getting around to filming your video. So I will get this in the mail today. Thank you for your patience again. If anyone has any questions about this particular install or anything really, please do not be a stranger. And with that being said, may the force be with you always. Have a good one, everybody.